Real estate can be a lonely business if you let it be. If you let it be. And it was for me for a long time. It was. You become ultra protective, a little paranoid. It can be a very lonely business, but it doesn't have to be.
Thank you for joining us on the CREB cast. Today we are here with Christian Twomey, our former chair of the board of directors. Christian, I know you're very busy, so I just want to thank you for taking the time to be with us here today.
Oh, thanks so much, Sam. This is a blessing to have this opportunity. And, I just thank you for thinking of me, and I'm happy to share with the members. So This will be fun.
Yeah,
I'm looking
that's
forward to
amazing.
it.
Thank you. So, Christian, can you tell me how long you've been in the business?
Well, if you can believe it, I can't believe it, but this is my 25th year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you start when you were like 10 or?
25,
Oh,
actually.
really?
So that puts an exact date on my age. Yeah.
Well, congratulations. I know that you were recently recognized at the Diamond Gala for your 25 years of service. So thank you very much.
Yeah, it was, I can't believe that I'm 25 years in. It's amazing to me because this business, honestly, I feel like I'm still new some days. I learn something every day. It's a dynamic business, and that's what makes it so exciting.
Yes.
Is that it's always changing, always evolving, and you're always learning. There's clients that I've had that I've done, I don't know. There's some clients that I've done 8, 10 transactions with over the years, and each one of those transactions is different. Even though it's the same client, it's different because their life circumstances are different.
Yeah.
So that's what makes this business so great. Nothing's the same.
Exactly, because their needs change. When maybe you sold their first house to them, it was just the two of them. And then they had to, go bigger because they've got children. And
Absolutely.
Then you're in the downsizing process as well with them, right? So it's kind of exciting to see
Very much so.
them their lives change.
One of my first clients, actually, one of my very first clients, their son was in a bassinet when I sold them their first place. And I think it was 2 years ago, I was able to sell him his very first home.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, it was very exciting.
Just crazy.
Full circle.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you were saying that, the time goes by so fast because you've enjoyed it and you learn something new every day. I've been fortunate enough to be part of CREB for 32 years. And so I learn something new every day. When I think, I've heard it all, then I'll hear something new and I'm like, oh, whoa, I've never heard that before.
Absolutely.
So maybe that's the way that we're going to stave off Alzheimer's and dementia, is that our brains are working and exercising every single day.
Which would be great.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Exactly. Did you always want to be in real estate, or obviously you started at 25, so you must have done something prior too?
Yeah. So no, I did not want to be a realtor. My dad was a realtor.
Okay.
My mom and dad were realtors, and I did not want to be a realtor. So prior to this, I worked at a private school in Saskatchewan. I was what's called a house parent, or basically like a guidance counselor to a dormitory of young men.
Oh.
And worked there for a number of years. I came back to Calgary because I met my wife, and she was here, and started my career.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
So we have Deb to thank for you being here with us.
100% actually.
That's fantastic.
My intention wasn't necessarily to be in Calgary, but after meeting Deb and falling in love, I decided to make Calgary my home.
Yeah, that's fantastic. We're glad that you did. I can totally see you being a counselor to young men. Like, you're a great listener and you give great advice. So
thank you.
I think that you would have probably really thrived in that position. I know you've done a lot of volunteering with CREB, and your most prominent role, this is my opinion, I would say was the chair of the board of directors. Is that something that you enjoyed? And as far as volunteering with CREB is concerned, what would be your advice to people who are thinking about joining but are kind of on the fence about how they can contribute to CREB?
My role as chair of the board was extremely fulfilling. Would I do it again? I would do it again in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
I would do it again in a heartbeat. I love this industry. I love what I do. I love the opportunities that real estate has afforded my family. It has given us everything that we have. It has given us the ability to raise two beautiful girls who are now 19 and 22. And I feel very blessed for it. So yeah, I would do it again. If there was any advice that I would give to other realtors, that would be, to get involved. Find your passion. And honestly, that doesn't necessarily have to be real estate.
Yeah.
Find your passion. I've done a lot of volunteering, ran a motorcycle ride for kids with cancer, did a lot of mission work, 12, 13 years of mission work in El Salvador. I've always volunteered. I've always tried to find something that I'm passionate about and then to give back to it. And when I started my volunteer journey in real estate, there's no question I'm passionate about real estate.
Absolutely.
So it was a natural fit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, your passion shines through in everything that you do. You touched on your daughters, and I would like to take you back to a time last summer when you were taking your youngest daughter out to university.
Yeah.
I know this is something that you want our members to be aware of, and so I know that you're comfortable talking about it.
Sure.
Some of you may have noticed that we've got these things around CREB. They are aspirin holders, and there's a little bit of an instruction card on how to use them. The reason that we have these is solely because of Christian's experience that he encountered last summer. So Christian, if you wouldn't mind sharing that with us as to what happened.
Yeah, so my youngest daughter started her first year at college in British Columbia. So she was in residence, so we had to drive out there and set up her dormitory room, okay? And I mean, so she took her car out there, my wife took her car out there, and I took my truck out there. So you wouldn't believe the stuff that we had. And, a dad of daughters, of course, I went to IKEA and I bought the lights that you put up around the room. And, we just got tons of stuff, right? Yeah. It was a very exciting time. So we went out there, set up her dorm room. One day, my wife and I got a hotel in Cranbrook, stayed overnight, and then the next day we finished up setting her up. And my wife's from the Invermere, Windermere area, and my mom's side of the family's from up there as well.
Oh, okay.
My wife's brother is up there right now. And so anyways, we have a place in Radium, a condominium. So after we finished setting up the dormitory room, we were going to go head out to Radium for another day or two, just to relax. And so we started to head to Radium. It was about an hour and a half drive. And I felt a pain right in the middle of my chest.
As you were driving?
As I was driving.
Okay.
And honestly, what I thought it was to begin with was the broken heart of a dad having his daughter no longer at home. My oldest daughter lives up north in the Yukon.
Oh, wow.
So, all of a sudden my daughters are out of the home.
Yeah.
Right? Which is tough.
Right.
So I mulled that over for a while, probably, I don't know, half hour or so. And I thought, this isn't right. It's one thing to have a broken heart, but suck it up. Like, what's going on here? Why is this still here? So then I thought, well, is it indigestion or is it heartburn? And I don't get indigestion or heartburn,
right.
Not normally. And I didn't eat anything weird or anything like that would, give that to me.
Right.
So as the trip progressed, I have a kit in my vehicle that, I've got a change of clothes, I've got a toque, gloves, a Narcan kit, I've got a first aid kit, tow rope, like kind of in a bag,
right.
like everything, right?
Like an emergency kit of sorts. Which is a great thing to have in Alberta with our winters.
For sure.
Yeah.
So it's in the back of the truck. I'm driving alone. My wife's driving in front of me in her vehicle.
Oh, I see.
So I'm reaching back like this and trying to find this thing. So I get it. I pull it up front, put it in the passenger seat, and I'm fumbling through it because I know that I have aspirin in there. And there's something in my head that's saying that this is wrong. However, what was interesting about it is there was no pain down my arm. There's no pain up, they always say left arm.
Right.
There's no pain up my left side, my jaw. There was no feeling of doom. There was no nausea, no sweats, just this pain right in the middle. And it was like I had my knuckles in there and I was just kind of rubbing it. Like it was pretty acute.
Yeah.
So I finally find this bottle of aspirin and I pull it out, the baby aspirins, the chewable ones.
Yeah.
So I pull it out and at this point, I don't know if I'm supposed to take 2 of these things or 22 of these things. Okay. So I pour some out in my hand and 3 came out.
Yeah.
And I do remember from CPR first aid training that you're supposed to chew them.
Right.
So I pop 3 in my mouth and I chew them up. And I voice text my wife and I said, when we get to the crossroads, which is on the highway, there's the crossroads that go down to Invermere and there's a Tim Hortons right there. I said, let's pull into the Tim Hortons. So she's like, okay. So we pull in there and I've got a world famous small bladder. Okay. So place in Radium's only like 12 minutes ahead.
Okay.
And I get out of the car and she's just on me. She's just on me because, my bladder. And she's like, you couldn't wait another 12 minutes, the whole thing. So I said, no, I got this pain. And she's like, what? She says, sit down in my car. So I sit down in there and she's like, tell me about what's going on. So I explained it. I told her I took some aspirin. She says, well, we're here. We're in Invermere. This is where the hospital is. Let's just go down the hospital. And I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
first time in my life I ever listened to her.
Yeah, I was going to say, because usually you would say, no, I'm okay.
Yeah. So we drive down there. She drives her car. I drive my car. We get in there and they go up to the front. I said, I have some, heart pain. Boom, you're in.
Right.
And they hooked me up on that ECG or KG or whatever they call it.
Yeah, I think it's an ECG.
ECG, yeah.
I think.
And I could tell by the nurse's face, there is just a subtlety in her face that I was like, something's up here.
This is serious.
Okay. So the doctor came in and they want to take some blood because there's a marker in your blood, and I can't remember what it's called.
Okay.
There's a marker in your blood that will tell them if you're having heart problems.
Oh, my.
So they took blood, and the protocol is to take 2 samples. So the first sample, they wait an hour, they take a second sample. So after the second sample, the doctor came back in and said, look, your first marker was, here. And that's below where we start to worry, way below. But then your next marker was here, which is still below. However, the rate that it raised in that time has me concerned. Protocol is I can cut you loose right now, but may I keep you for another hour and take another sample just to make sure there's not, and I was like, yeah, of course.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you. So she takes another sample. The third sample came back, so a full hour later, and boom, I've got a problem.
Wow.
So they called STARS to take me into the Foothills Hospital, and STARS wouldn't come out because it was a BC incident.
Oh,
and there's a bit of a deal, I think, between BC and Alberta right now on funding and all this kind of stuff.
Okay.
So they checked me into the hospital, and I was waiting to be triaged on a medevac flight to Kelowna.
Oh, I see.
So that took 3 nights. On the 4th day, I think it was, the plane landed in Fairmont. Ambulance came and got me, transported me out there, got me in the flight off to Kelowna, which was super cool, by the way.
Right.
It's unusual to have a fully reclining seat on a plane and window seat and aisle access, looking out the window and flying right over the Jumbo Glacier, all those lakes like the Arrow Lakes and everything. It was beautiful. And you're right over the top of the mountains. Wow. Landed in Kelowna, got admitted to the Kelowna Hospital. And, kind of long story short, they did an angiogram, angioplasty, and then put a stent in. So what ended up happening was I had a 90% blockage, and I don't know the technical term, but a 90% blockage in the widowmaker artery.
Wow.
What the term is.
Yes.
And if you look that up, depending on what you read, there's a 10 to 12% survival rate.
Wow.
from that. So when I was in getting the angiogramoplasty and stent, which took longer to get ready for it than the actual procedure did,
Oh, my
actually.
goodness.
It was incredible.
Yeah.
The doctor said to me, the surgeon, I guess, said to me, and they went right up my wrist into my heart, and you watch it right on a TV screen right there. It's
So you're
incredible.
conscious for the whole thing?
Yeah, completely.
Wow.
Yeah. And he said to me, okay, when we do this angioplasty, like when they put the balloon in or whatever, and they
Right.
punch the clot out,
Oh, okay.
I have no idea where the clot went. I
Right.
never did ask that, but I don't know. So he said, I want you to remember this pain. He said, this is going to hurt. This is going to hurt more than, anything. I want you to remember this. This is heart pain. If you ever feel this, you have to go in. Okay. So, he's talking me through it, and he says, okay, we're inflating it, and blah, blah, blah. You're going to feel the pain, and now we're coming off, and blah, blah. So he says, did you feel that? And I said, yep. And he says, yep. And I said, well, yeah. And he says, well, what would you give that out of 10? And I said, I don't know, a 2? And he says, a 2? And I said, yeah. He says, he's kind of scrunched up. And he says, well, let me ask you, when this first happened, when you first went in,
Right.
before you came to Kelowna, what would you give that pain? I said, I don't know, like 7.5 or an 8? He says, 7.5 or 8, and this was a 2?
Wow.
I said, yeah. He says, well, what were you doing? I said, I was driving. You were driving, he says. I'm like, yeah. Like, I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
And he says, for how long? I said, I don't know, an hour and a half. An hour and a half, he says.
He was probably ready to
So
fall
anyway,
off his chair.
yeah. So what he was getting at was, I guess, that procedure often in that artery will buckle people for like a day. Like, they're done.
Wow.
So he couldn't believe that it was a 2. And I don't know why it was or what happened, but he couldn't believe it. But they made it very clear to me that 2 things that saved my life that day. Number 1 is that I took aspirin.
Right.
Number 1. Like, a bottle of aspirin's like $5.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah.
It's like nothing.
Exactly.
So number 1, I took 3 aspirin,
Right.
baby aspirin. Like,
Yeah.
who would have thought?
Yeah.
Saved my life. Number 2, I listened to my wife.
Right.
And when she said we should be going to the hospital, we should be going to the damn hospital.
Yeah.
And that saved my life. So what you were showing everybody
Yes.
there, that container, it'll unscrew and you can hold aspirin in it. It's just a key, hooks onto your keychain. So for you, for your loved one, for someone in the mall that drops, I don't know, but you have them now, and that'll save somebody's life.
Yeah. I have a container that I have attached to my keys, and I think that you can put about 8 to 10 aspirin in there. So it's not a small amount, and it looks small, but you can definitely put that many. And you took 3, and that really helped. We're so glad that you're still with us, because it could have been so much worse. And the survival rate when somebody has that kind of a blockage is very low. So,
and I do want to say one thing that I think is important. 2 years ago, I had I upped my life insurance and all that stuff. So I had a heart fit, or 2 years prior to this.
oh, I see. Okay.
Event.
Yeah.
I did a heart fit clinic thing because they wanted to do all these tests to make sure that I didn't have any, when I was
Pre-existing conditions. Yeah.
So I went through it, and everything was clear. Okay. I understand I'm not a picture of health. I understand that I'm not, my body mass index is probably not perfect at all, but I eat well. I don't drink a lot.
Yeah.
My cholesterol, all that stuff measured normal. And what this was a genetic marker that I have that is not found. It's not seen unless they specifically look for it. That's caused all of these problems.
Oh, wow.
So carry one of these things
Yes.
because you don't know.
You just never
I went
know.
through all this testing and then nothing came up.
Yeah.
So you just never know.
Yeah.
If you carry one of these, you're going to protect yourself. Whether or not you think you got a problem, you're going to protect your loved ones. You're going to protect somebody that may be just a colleague or
Or a random stranger in a mall, as you had mentioned.
That's right.
You just never know. Yeah, I really thought it was important to bring that story to light,
Yeah.
especially for those people who hadn't heard it, because this could happen to anybody at any time, and it doesn't matter whether you're a man, woman, child, doesn't matter.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for sharing that. And like I said, we are very grateful that you are still with us.
So am I.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm glad you listened to your wife. So
Yeah.
I hope from now on you're going to be listening to her more regularly.
Well,
Yeah.
I try to. Okay?
And I know you described the scene when you were being flown by helicopter and how everything was so beautiful and you got to fly over the lakes. I just want to let you know that I don't want to see the lakes like that.
No.
But I'm glad that you got to
No.
see them that way.
I will say that the Invermere Hospital, it was actually a plane that they had me in.
Oh, I see.
The crew that was on the plane and the Kelowna Hospital, the care that I received was second to none.
That's
They were
fantastic.
all awesome. All of them were just incredible people.
That is really good to hear. With the medical facilities the way they are and they're getting dragged through the mud on a regular basis, it's really nice to hear that somebody had such a fantastic experience while going through such a scary time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So thank you for that, Christian. I want to know if you can remember, without being specific so that we're not infringing on any competition law or anything, if there is a story about a transaction that you did that stands out in your mind because it was different or funny, or it was just not the regular run-of-the-mill transaction that you had performed.
One that sticks out in my mind sometimes is I had clients that I sold them a home, their very first home in Evergreen. Then I sold that home and they moved to Southwood. Okay. And super nice people and very friendly, like kind of your neighborhood people, right? That really get to know everybody.
Yeah.
So the husband was having some of the neighborhood people over to the garage, detached garage, for a couple beers and sit around and talk. And there was a new fella there that I was introduced to that was from Hong Kong. And I got to know him a little bit, got to meet him, and then was able to meet his wife as well. And somehow we connected. We connected great. And they wanted to start looking for rental properties. So I took them out and found them a rental property, sold it to them. That was great. And then that husband, the one that I met that evening, he had to go back to Hong Kong. And his wife was left here, and she didn't drive at this point. So I said, no problem. And he was gone for a while, I think it was 5 or 6 weeks. And I said, if she needed anything, to call me. And she did. Yeah. I would take her to the bank, I'd take her to the grocery store, that sort of thing. And I liked her. She was funny.
Right.
We had a good time. And in that time period, they decided that they wanted to look for another rental property. So she called me one evening, and there was this, and I can't remember if it was at Southwood or Canyon Meadows. It doesn't matter. There's this one that came up, and she wanted to go look at it. So, okay. So we went over there, and it was evening. It was evening, and it was in the winter.
Okay.
So that, the sun goes down 4:30 or whatever.
Feels like 8 o'clock.
It feels like 8
o'clock,
o'clock, but it's probably only 5:30, 6 o'clock.
Right.
So we go over there, get into the home. It was a corner lot, but it was a reverse pie, and a dramatic reverse pie. Big, wide front, but the backyard really narrowed almost to a point. So we get inside the home, and it was an estate sale, big home, and there was kind of stuff all over it. Some of the lights worked, and some of the lights didn't work, and it was old and very original, and it looked like they were maybe having a estate sale because stuff was on tables and whatnot.
Okay.
So we kind of went through it, and then we went down into the basement, and I think maybe one
of the lights worked.
one light worked in the entire basement. So it was fairly creepy.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, she was getting the vibes and telling me Christian, this is creepy.
How old do you think the house was?
Oh man. Those homes were probably built in the 70s.
Okay.
Maybe late 60s, something like that. I can't really remember.
So 50-ish years old. Yeah.
Beautiful home, especially for its era. But she wanted to go out into the backyard. And, sometimes you have clients, this isn't the home for them.
Right.
They're not going to buy it, but for whatever reason, they want to look at absolutely everything in the home, no matter what.
Right.
Okay. So we get out into the backyard, and the light, the exterior light is like not giving off a lot of light.
Okay.
And it's black.
Right.
Okay. And we can see that this is a reverse pie. And along the one side, there's a garden shed. So not your average square or rectangular shed, but it's like a long rectangle kind of shed, a long narrow shed that runs along the fence all the way kind of the back.
No
I bet you the shed's like 20 feet long.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Okay.
So we're looking at the backyard, we're standing on the deck, and she decides that she would like to go into the shed,
Yeah.
take a look at the
Take a
shed.
look at it, yeah.
All right, here we go. So you get the light on your iPhone,
Right.
which isn't worth a hill of beans.
Right.
So we're walking out there, through the yard, and
Was the shed itself, sorry to interrupt you, was it dark in the shed? Was there any lighting in the shed
there's
other
no
than your
lights
phone?
in the shed, just my phone. Okay,
Okay.
just my phone.
Okay.
But the entrance to the shed is at the far end. So we had to walk all the way down there to get into the shed. And, it's a shed. So what's in the shed? Shed things.
Yes.
Boxes and mowers and
Yes.
whips and weed whips and
Yeah.
garden tools.
Pitchforks.
And,
and,
just shed
exactly,
stuff, right?
yeah.
But a lot of boxes.
Yeah.
But it's 20 feet long, at least 20 feet long. So we get in, she's behind me, and we start walking. Now, I should describe her a little bit here. So she's probably 5'2".
Okay.
Okay. Tiny.
Right.
Tiny lady.
Yeah,
Okay. I'm 6 feet tall,
Right.
about 230 pounds. And the reason I'm saying that is
Just to
you'll
set the
understand
stage.
here
Yeah.
in a minute. So we get into the shed. We start walking now back towards the house inside the shed, working our
Yes.
way up
Right.
with my iPhone. And we're getting up there, and I'm probably 2/3, if not 3/4 of the way into the shed.
Right.
And
And she's still following behind you.
she's right behind, well, not right behind me, but she's
She's
behind me.
close. Yeah.
Okay. And I can't remember, she might have her iPhone out,
Yeah, yeah.
probably, right? So,
Get as much light in there as possible.
yeah. So we get up there, and there's a whole bunch of boxes at the end, and I'm kind of looking like this. And all of a sudden, I don't know what happened, but there was something in that shed,
Oh my.
and it moved. And it wasn't a mouse, and I don't think it was a cat. It was something larger.
Oh, my.
Okay, because when it moved,
Yeah.
boxes moved.
Oh boy.
Well, I turned around, and all I wanted to do was to get to that door.
Yeah.
So I started running. 6 feet, 230 pounds, full blast to get to that door. And what's in my way? She is.
Yes.
And all I could see is her eyes, right? They're like this. She's frozen solid. Her eyes are looking at me like
Right.
this. And she's like, oh, like this. And I'm like, because of whatever the hell's behind me, right?
Oh,
I'm running like this. I grab her. I pick her up. I throw her over my shoulder. Literally, we go flying out the damn thing, out the door, into the yard. Both of us are screaming, like this. We get out in the middle of the yard, screaming like this. And now we're screaming and laughing.
Yeah.
Well, the neighbors on both sides, all of a sudden, lights start going on. People are coming
Yeah.
out like this.
They're wondering what's
Wondering
happening.
what the hell's
Yeah,
going
yeah,
on.
yeah.
We are dying
Oh, my
laughing.
gosh,
Okay,
that's
absolutely
hilarious.
dying laughing. And from that point forward, she always called that one the spooky house. The spooky house. Yeah.
Needless to say, she didn't buy it. Did you ever find out what was in the shed?
No, I wasn't
No,
going
you
back to
wouldn't
find
go
that
back.
out.
No.
There's not a chance, right?
Oh my goodness,
Yeah.
the things that you guys go through just to make a sale.
It's just hilarious. Yeah.
But that'll be something that'll remain in your memory forever, and in hers as well. She probably got
absolutely.
freaked out because you're screaming and you're at the front and you don't know what's going on. But she probably, because of her being a little bit shorter, she can't even see what you're seeing. So
But she heard it.
she's only reacting to what you're.
Yeah, but
what
she
you're
did
doing.
hear it.
Oh, really?
I mean, whatever it was, maybe it was like a raccoon. I don't know
Yeah.
what it was. It was something,
Something
and it
big.
scared the living hell out of
Right.
me. I'll tell you that much. Yeah.
And I don't think you're a person that gets scared very easily.
No,
so,
but that did.
It would have been comical. And,
Yeah.
the whole scenario with it being winter and it's dark and all
Oh,
of those
totally.
things, it just kind of
and
played into it.
starting going through the home, and it was like an estate sale, so and it's older, and
Right.
and there's like knickknacks and whatnot on a table, and half the lights work and don't, and then you go to the basement, there's like one or two lights that only. It was just building the
Yes,
anxiety anxiety up for this moment, right? Yeah.
By the time you saw that thing move in the shed, you were already at the point of, oh my God.
Totally. Like, get me out of here. Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing that story. That was quite funny. Is there anything else that you would like to share, whether, it's good experiences, bad experiences, advice, or anything that I haven't asked you?
Real estate can be a lonely business.
Yeah.
If you let it be. And it was for me for a long time. It was, because you become ultra protective, a little paranoid that you don't want anyone to know what you are doing, because everyone's a competitor. Right. In your mind.
Absolutely.
It can be a very lonely business, but it doesn't have to be.
Right.
So a couple things that I would say is everyone has, there's almost 8,800. I looked the other day, we're like 7 shy of 8,800 members.
Right.
I think we're 1.7 million, something like that now. There's a lot of business to go around.
There is.
You just got to find it.
Yes.
You got to go for it. And I'll tell you that your circle of influence and my circle of influence and our own personal influence on those individuals is unique and different.
Mm-hmm.
And not to think of every member as a competitor. So if you have an office, share with people, sit with people, discuss things, learn. If you don't have an office, come to CREB. Look at the space we have now. There's regulars that come in here every day.
Absolutely.
This is a place where you can, if you do not have an office, this is an office.
Yes.
This is a place where you can meet people and share.
Yes.
And learn and discuss.
Yeah.
And talk. Don't be afraid to get mentors and ask for help. When I first started, my dad was, I guess, my first mentor. When I first got licensed, I remember getting licensed and going to my dad and saying, well, here we go. I'm ready to go. Now we can team up. And I remember he laughed.
Yeah.
He laughed at me. And he said, are you kidding me? He says, you think I would partner with you? He says, you don't know anything. Go join an office with a lot of people and learn something. So that's what I did.
That's probably the best advice he could have given you.
That's what I did.
Yeah.
And it wasn't long after that we did partner up.
Yeah.
And I learned a ton from him.
Yes.
Right? I did a lot of work in new home construction, worked for a builder for a number of years. Company was called Stepper Homes or Stepper Custom Homes. Yeah. Rudy Stepper came over to Canada in 1954, I think it was. $6 in his pocket.
Wow.
And made it work. First home he bought was in Bridgeland and dug the basement himself.
Wow.
By hand.
Wow.
Him and his wife.
Wow.
And he was a mentor of mine.
Yeah.
I learned a tremendous amount from him. When I first was selling new home construction, we had a show home in Millrise. I knew nothing. And I remember Rudy showed up, and back then you'd go up Shaughnessy Boulevard. At the top of the hill, there's St. Pat's Church, and then you come over. And when you come over the hill and come down to James McKivitt, right before that on the right, there's Millrise Square, it was called, and we had a show home in there. And that road in there, I remember, was dirt when we first started. And he had this red Cadillac, and he would drive this over these bloody bumps and everything. And he'd pull up in front, and he'd come in, and very intimidating man. Right, he was German, and he had hands on him like steel, like oars, right?
Yeah.
And the first time he came in, I got up and I didn't know who he was, and I grabbed a brochure and I went over and I said, "Welcome to Stepper Homes," and he goes, "Stepper? I am Stepper," like this, and then walks through the home, and I'm like, "Oh my God!" So then he comes out and he says, "So you're Twomey?" And I said, "Yeah." He says, "So you know how to write a deal?" I didn't have a bloody clue. The contract's different, right, for new homes than it is for resale.
Okay.
And I was like, "Oh, yeah." He says, "Well, write a deal." So he sits down at the desk. So I had to write, and that was back when we had to
Oh my
write it
goodness.
all out.
How intimidating.
Oh, it was
Yeah.
completely, the only benefit was I don't think he knew either what the hell I was doing, right? He knew how to run the company, but he didn't know what,
Yeah.
So I, fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
I did it.
Right.
And, he was happy and off he went. And then, a couple days later he came back and he wanted to talk, and we talked a little bit, and then he left, and he's on the driveway, and I remember he stopped about halfway down and turns back around. He comes back in. He says, Twomey? He says, I want to talk to you out here. And I'm like, oh, man, here we go. We go outside, and, there's, it was a square, so there's a park kind of in the middle and 4 cul-de-sacs off of it.
Right.
And he says, do you see it? And I'm like, looking out there, and I'm looking at, is one of my signs wrong, in the wrong place? Is, what have
I done wrong?
What have I done wrong?
Yeah.
Right? So I'm looking like this, and I said, Rudy, I'm sorry, no, I don't see it. And he says, look harder. Oh man, what have I done?
Right.
I'm looking like this, and I said, Rudy, I'm sorry, I can't see it. He puts his arm around me, and he says to me, there's gold out there. You just have to learn how to bend down and pick it up. And then he lets me go. He gets in his bloody Cadillac, turns around and leaves.
Wow.
It was unbelievable.
Wow.
And he was a mentor of mine.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
And still even today, we have a member, Camille Morley.
Yeah.
Camille doesn't know this, but Camille is a mentor of mine. We have all these different things in our lives. I often think like realtors, we're like the guy at the circus that's spinning plates.
Right.
With all these sticks.
Yeah.
And one plate's your business and your family and your spouse or loved one or partner.
Yeah.
Children if you have them.
Yeah.
Your health, your faith, like all this.
Yeah.
And what happens to the guy at the circus if one of them starts to falter, they overcompensate, and then they all fall.
Yes.
Right?
Exactly.
So it's important to, with all of these plates in your life, to have people there to help keep those plates spinning. Camille has really helped me with faith.
That's nice.
And I think faith's important. CREB has, that's what makes us so strong and so beautiful, is that we have faiths and we're so diverse as a group of realtors, which makes it so exciting. But find someone that will support you.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's been a hell of a support for me.
Yeah, I also know Camille, and he's always supportive. Whether he's asked or not, he recognizes where somebody might need some support.
Totally.
And he's just always giving of his time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those doors open. If you're open to learn, if you're open to listen, if you're open to collaborate and share yourself,
Yes.
those doors open,
Yeah.
and people will come into your life.
Exactly.
And let them.
Exactly.
We're not
Exactly.
all going to steal
Yeah.
something from you.
Exactly.
You have a different circle.
Yeah.
Share.
I see a lot of collaboration going on here at the campus.
It's awesome.
We have many people that come in from different brokerages, and then you'll see them sitting together in the same cubicle, and they're chatting and they're learning from each other, and they're showing videos and things like that. So I'm hoping that scary factor of they're my competition, I hope that kind of rhetoric is going away, and they're seeing each other as resources as opposed to competition.
I think
So,
it really is.
thank you.
When the campus was renovated, COVID kicked the hell out of us.
Yes,
It
I
did.
would agree with you 100%.
It beat us up.
Yeah.
It really did. It
Yeah.
beat us up. It was a tough time.
Yeah.
Tough time for everyone. And what's gone on here with the renovation, with the increase of classes, member get-togethers,
Yes.
came to one here a month ago, I think. There was a panel
Yes.
of members that spoke. Then there was appetizers and sodas and
Yeah.
a glass of wine or whatever after. It was wonderful. I'm a little late, and I pulled up, I think, a couple minutes after the hour, and the parking lot was packed. I had to park up in the back, and it was packed.
Yeah.
came in, walked into the Frank John's,
Yes.
and it was packed.
Right.
That's the way this used to be.
Yes.
Right? COVID beat us
Yeah.
up
Yeah.
bad, but it's coming back because we're social people
Yes.
as realtors, and we want to get together. We want to talk.
Yeah.
We want to learn. We want to share.
Yeah. Well, this occupation is social.
Absolutely.
It's all about relationships, and I've said that for many years. It's not about how much you know about the house or you don't know about the house. It's really about the relationships. And to your point, I'm seeing some of the things that we're doing at CREB, I'm seeing them being sold out within a few hours, because everybody is chomping at the bit to just see each other and get together, because they also realize that it's not an alone game.
Absolutely.
You have to play this game with other people.
I mean, that Stampede barbecue that we had was unbelievable.
Yeah, we've had
how
some
good
great
it was.
comments about it.
Wow.
It was really well received. We have
Yeah.
a great events team, and they do a great job.
Yeah.
But in conclusion, I would just like to say thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
I know that you're very busy and taking time out of your schedule to come in and just have a chat. I feel really privileged in having you here.
Oh, it's my pleasure. And thank you. And to our members, thank you. And if anyone ever needs anything, my door is always open, my phone's on. If anyone needs help with anything, I'm always willing to help out. And I know lots of other people are too.
Right.
Just ask.
Yeah.
Right?
And I want to say what Christian just said in regards to that he's always available. He is not joking. I know personally there was a member who needed a ride at like 9, 10 o'clock on a Sunday night, and because their partner had been in an accident and they needed a ride, and he didn't hesitate to go and pick that person up and support them through that evening when they just needed a friend. And that's who Christian is. So again, Christian, thank you for being here. Thank you guys for listening to the CREB podcast. And we hope to see you again here for the next one. And if any of you would like to participate and be a guest on the podcast, I would love to interview you. Thanks, and have a great day.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Sam.
Yeah, thank you.